You spoke of the children and that being a part of your heart, right? So where does your heart lie as it relates to the kids of the community and what's available for them?
One of the things, I love the community. I love the children that I've had the privilege of interacting with. Um, One of the things coming out of the gang division, prior to this assignment, I worked in the gang division. And one of the things that I like to stress to everybody is that we prefer not to arrest or put people in jail. Okay. We prefer to see them get help. We prefer to connect them to resources that will give them opportunities and teach them a better way. That's what we prefer to see as a law enforcement organization. And it breaks my heart every time I have to see that young generation, get hard time because of the choices that they made. When I was in the gang division, one of the programs that I promoted all the time was the gang resistance education and training. And that is because we recognize, number one, that we can't arrest our way out of the problems, okay? Mm-hmm. We don't have enough space in the jail. And quite frankly, the criminal justice system can't handle us that being our only solution. So as a member of the police department, as a member of the Houston Police Department, we are always trying to promote other options. I work closely with several different organizations, and these organizations consist of opportunities to prevent individuals, or prevention programs rather. They consist of intervention programs, educational programs, and programs to help connect people with resources, whether it is something related to mental illness, whether it's helping people to get out of gangs, helping to provide them with tools that they need so that they don't have to turn to a life of crime. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, I think, if that person knew what he was capable of doing, and had been given or had been connected to those resources, would that person still have made those choices? Because I'm telling you, these kids are younger, and they're younger. And we have older people teaching the youth how to go out and commit robberies, how to go out and take over a cell phone store. We have criminals teaching criminals. And honestly, I don't believe that was a dream of any of these individuals. I believe they felt trapped. I believe that, and if you listen to some of their stories, they're heartbreaking. Mm-hmm. We stood on a corner one day, and it was one of our corners where we've had a lot of drive-by shootings. And we listened, and I had an officer there with me, and I had some people from the community, some people that have known to be in trouble, and they stood there and they chit-chatted with us, and just listening to the dialogue back and forth. And one thing that's important to remember, not all of us officers came with a silver spoon in our mouth. We came up with challenges, and we got to learn firsthand. And I kind of watched the community's reaction. I had an officer with me that was I would say she came up through foster care. And she talked to them about how, and she was a white officer, she was not black. Wow. And she got to share her story with these individuals. And it kind of opened their eyes so that they wouldn't sit there and say, well, because I'm black, this is what's happened to me, this is the way it is. This girl went through a lot as well, and she did not come here with a silver spoon in her mouth. She had a father that went to the penitentiary, but she made some decisions for herself. And so it was just inspiring to me, and just to watch their reactions, because these are the guys that stand on the street corners. These are the guys that are targeted, as far as drive-by shootings are concerned. These are the guys that have been in trouble. And so I have spoken to them and I've said, look, when you're ready to change, come talk to me, because there's a whole lot of people that come from where you come from. And we need you to help reach these individuals, because they're very, very difficult to reach. There are times when I've offered goods as I'm standing at a church when they're giving out, free food, and I've seen young youth walking down the street, and I said, hey, come over here. We've got some, fresh vegetables, fresh fruit, and I've heard the reactions, and they've said, oh no, we're not coming over there. You kill people. And it broke my heart, because I don't know what their experiences are, but based upon their reaction, that's how they truly felt about this uniform.
Wow. Thank you.
I invited them to come over and talk. Of course, they refused, but where my heart is I want to do everything that we can. I want us collectively, the community, the police, to do the best we can to reach the ones that are the hardest to reach, because I still know that there's hope for those individuals.
Thank you so very much. I have one question for you, and then we're going to move to the what we call an intermission. And what is the ratio of officers to the community? How many officers do we have ultimately, versus how many people we have in Texas, so to speak, or in Houston to work with?
So I don't have the ratio in my head, but if I can remember correctly, it's somewhere around 2 point something. I know that in Houston, the Houston area, where our population is over 2.1. I know we've grown since the 2000 census. So I know we're over 2.1 million. And the officers, the number of officers that we have now is about 5,000. We're right at about the 5,000 mark.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. So while you listen and engage with us during this episode, we ask that you consider for yourself where you stand and how we embrace or dishonor the badge. Are you meeting us in the middle? Please stay tuned and post those burning questions.